Good afternoon, Homes Road Church of Christ. I hope you're having a great Wednesday in the Lord. Just bringing you the devotional thought. Hopefully it'll encourage you and just keep you going along the way till we meet again on Sunday. When my boys were teenagers, like so many of you who have had kids, or maybe even yourself, they had to get braces when they got in their teenage years. They had to get braces put on their teeth. And getting braces is no joke. I mean, it is expensive and it's painful at times when they first get put on and when they get tightened or adjusted and along the process. It ain't no joke. It's a serious thing, and it's a long process to wear braces. It can take up to 2 years or more for some folks, and so it's a long journey. But then that day finally comes. That day when people who have braces, that day they long for, when the orthodontist looks at him and says, "Hey, your teeth look good. It's time to get the braces off." The teeth are pronounced good, and as part of the years-long process, the orthodontist that we went into, they had a special tradition in the clinic. And in that particular clinic, when anyone got their braces off for the last time, it was a celebratory ritual for the person to go and ring this bell. And anyone who rang that bell, it meant I was free of braces. And it marked the end of that long braces journey. Both Mark and Luke went and rang that bell when they got their braces off with gusto and excitement. And all the doctors and nurses within the clinic, and even the office staff, and even many of the strangers who were there to get braces put on their kids or to get an adjustment or whatever, they would all start clapping and cheering for the person that just announced they were free of braces after ringing that bell. They would cheer and clap and give congratulations, and it was a celebratory time. A few years ago, when I was in a different place, not this church, but there was a member of a church that I was working with, and she was struggling with a battle with cancer. And she went through some really tough treatments of chemo and radiation, both. And after 30 treatments of radiation, 30, I remember that number specifically because I thought, man, that's a lot. But after 30 treatments of radiation, she asked us to come with her. She asked me and the other ministers I was working with to go with her and to go with her on this big doctor appointment she was having and pray for her and give her support, because she was going to find out if she had to do more or if she was done or what. So we did. We went with her, and she went back into the exam rooms, and the rest of us ministers just sat out in the lobby. And we sat in the lobby waiting for her to come out with news, and we didn't know what the news was going to be. And finally, it seemed like a while, but after a while, she finally came out, and she just had this poker face on. She wouldn't give one way or the other, and we were wondering what's going on. And so we finally said, "Well, what did the doctor say?" We were full of anticipation, wondering what the news was going to be. And again, she didn't say anything. All she did was we walked over to this hospital bell that was assembled there, and on the bell it said, "I'm now cancer free." It was written on the bell, and she began to ring it with such vigorous joy that the rope that they used to shake the bell, it came unhooked and detached from the bell. She was ringing so hard and excitedly, and of course everyone, the doctors and us ministers, everybody that was in the room, we all just erupted in joy and hugs and celebration. Maybe you have had moments like that in your life when you get to celebrate a long and tough road of trouble by ringing a bell, by clapping out loud or shouting in victory. What are the occasions in your life that you can remember celebrating with that kind of gusto, with that kind of excitement? If you turn to the book of Psalm, chapter 47, and let's look at verses 1 through 8 together. Psalm 47, verses 1 through 8. Let's read this. The psalmist writes, "Clap your hands, all you nations. Shout to God with cries of joy. For the Lord Most High is awesome. The great King over all the earth. He subdued nations under his feet, peoples under our feet. He chose our inheritance for us, the pride of Jacob whom he loved. God has ascended amid shouts of joy, the Lord amid the sounding of trumpets. Sing praises to God, sing praises. Sing praises to our King, sing praises. For God is the King of all the earth. Sing to him a psalm of praise. God reigns over the nations. God is seated on his holy throne. Now, did you catch all that in there? Did you hear all the excitement and the joy? The writer says things like clap your hands, cry out your joy, shout to God, sing praises. He emphasizes sing praise. He says it 4 times. He says it once and then repeats it 3 more times. The writer here wants us to understand that God's people should celebrate and make some noise doing it. Clap, shout, scream, holler, and sing, sing, sing. Sound like trumpets. Why? Really no other reason is given in the text other than God is God. I mean, that's the reason. God is awesome. That's what it said in verse 2. God's awesome. That's why you need to do this. He is king. He reigns supreme. That's the reason for the joy. Folks, I know that we tend to celebrate noisily when we achieve a victory after a long, hard road. Getting our braces off, boy, ringing that bell. Defeating cancer, boy, ringing that bell. Everyone's cheering and having a blast. Becoming a champion in a sporting event. Everyone cheers their head off, yells and screams like crazy. After a long grinding season, they finally become champions, so they go crazy. And their fans, they clap and they shout. We clap, we shout, we ring bells, we sing, and we carry on when we have a financial windfall or we reach some kind of milestone in our life. But the writer of Psalm here seems to indicate that Christian people, that God's people, should have those kind of reactions simply because God is king and he rules the nations. Folks, he does that every day, so maybe we should be doing this every day. God may not always grant you a victory over the struggles that are in your life. Sometimes God chooses not to take away your cancer, or not to bless you with finances, or to allow that relationship that you've been praying for to go ahead and die. But regardless of our earthly circumstances, he is worthy of our worship and our praise because he is still seated on the holy throne, says verse 8. This psalm is trying to teach us an important truth here. We need to live a life of celebration and maybe even make it a noisy one that gets some attention, even in the midst of struggle, even in the midst of health issues or relationship issues or financial struggles, whatever it is. We need to be celebratory every day because he is God and he reigns on the throne. When God chooses to grant us a victory, when you have all your little victories along life's way, and he chooses to bring us a healing, or he chooses to grant us a financial windfall, or a promotion at the job, or some kind of great mile marker in your life, it is a cause for great celebration. Go ahead and celebrate. We should. It's godly. We should ring those bells and shout and clap and give thanksgiving. But even if he doesn't, we still should. We may not have a physical bell to ring every single day in our lives, but we can joyfully celebrate his goodness every single day with exuberance. And I hope that's what you do. We'll see you soon, Holmes Road. Have a great week. Bye-bye.